Mother's Day is the day we set aside to show our love and appreciation for mothers. And mothers come in all types. There's moms and mommies, grandmothers, foster mothers, adopted mothers. Sometimes it's just somebody special in your life that acted like your mother, taking care of you, nurturing you, or loving you. So I'm giving my testimony of sorts, and normally we hear testimonies of God and Jesus, but this kind of fits because God made my mom. But my testimony is about my mom. Or moms in general, I guess. A few years back, I was kind of stumped on what to get my mom for Mother's Day. She's a pretty simple person. She doesn't need very much. She doesn't want very much. So I decided the old homemade card would be great, even though I was 28 at the time. Plus I'm cheap. But when I got started on this thing, I didn't have any idea how in depth I would get, how much time I put into it. Of course, I work for the state, so I got lots of free time. I also didn't have any idea that it would end up being a 12-page little informational pamphlet. I compiled some stories of big things or maybe little things that she'd done when I was growing up or when I was already grown up. I know Dale probably would normally be a little worried about what kind of stories I would share up here.
Amen.
Yeah. So I sent him a copy of it beforehand. Also, in case I get too choked up, he's going to jump up here and finish my stories. Some of them you don't get to hear because I would get too choked up. Some of them are a little too personal. So. But I started out with my title, and I said, 2 things needed to be said. I'm sorry and thank you. Let me shake it. In the beginning, that's because I'm afraid I'm going to tear up. In the beginning, God made moms, and my mom was perfect for me. There are a host of activities that go without mentioning when it talks about one's mother, and I feel certain that I've left many of these out in the words to follow. You taught me to walk, smile, laugh. You loved me, protected me, and nurtured me. When I was young, you always read to me before bed, every night, one chapter, and I still remember. You are many things wrapped into one: mom, mommy, mother, friend, just to name a few. I'm sorry for all the times I wouldn't go to bed like I was supposed to. But thank you for reading Hardy Boyd's books to me every night. There's more, just give me a second. Okay, we don't need no education. Now, when you're a kid as smart as I was, it's tough to make good grades. Good grades were nice and easy in 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade. And then I think that girls came into view. And being a genius was complicated by sports, girls, homework, standardized testing. My grades went downhill with no momentum to climb back up. But through it all, you loved me, encouraged me, and tutored me. Apparently, I was more comfortable as a typical underachiever. I'm sorry that I didn't apply myself like I should have. I wasn't valedictorian. I didn't get a scholarship, and I still can't spell very good. Thank you for standing by me, supporting me, not grounding me, recognizing my potential while allowing me to walk to the beat of a different drum. Road trip. When I was about 11 years old, you drove me to Liberty to see my 4-H girlfriend for an afternoon. What a sacrifice. I know this now because I'm older and I appreciate my free time. And I also know that nobody wants to go to Liberty for an afternoon. I'm sorry that I probably didn't say thank you for wasting a tank of gas and your entire Saturday just in order to kindle my puppy love. And thank you because I know it was your idea and it was your hand that I held on the way home when I was thinking I'd never see this girl again. And I didn't. Until Facebook. My baker. I could not be more impressed with your fifth or resourcefulness. We had everything we needed, pretty much everything we wanted, and you accomplished this without complaint, without debt, and without mentioning any financial hardships. At the time, we had just sent a kid to prom, and all I could ask is, how did you do that? As if I didn't $5 and $10 you enough every day. How did you manage that weekend? And as many times as I thought that I could find a date. And there was a lot. I'm sorry that I always thought you should be able to shell out $5, $10, $20 at my command. And I'm sorry that I never gave you a hug and a kiss when you wrote me a check or handed me the last stash of cash out of your purse. Thank you for being a financial wizard, not the kind with millions in the bank, but the kind who provides everything for their family with very little. What's for dinner? One of my favorite mom stories. I needed some ideas. Of course, my mom was a weird cook to begin with. But I needed to know what to make for dinner. This is when I lived far away. So I called my mom. And she had me go to the kitchen cupboard, open the kitchen cupboard, and tell her what I saw. And I received from 600 miles away how to make dinner out of the scrubby contents on the shelf. I made a beef pot pie from Dinty Moore beef stew, Bisquick, mixed vegetables, and tomato soup. I'm sorry that at a moment's notice you would have to switch dinner for you and I to dinner for me and 6 or 7 of my friends, whoever showed up at the door. Thank you for all your work as head chef on Thanksgiving, pastry chef on birthdays, short order cook, always eager to be my childhood Waffle House cooking BLTs in all hours of the night, and my current cooking helpline, because I still don't know how long to boil an egg. One car, 2 drivers. For as long as I can remember, the car that was yours was seldom under your control. First Krista, then Alan, and finally me. I hadn't forgotten the mornings you would walk to work so I could drive to school and be cool. I can't imagine the extra hours you must have put in at work waiting for somebody to pick you up in your car. And there's no way to count all the times that I showed up at City Hall asking for $5 for gas. And of course at that time $5 would pay an escort. I'm sorry I didn't spend more mornings walking to school and spend more afternoons mowing grass instead of burning up gas in the car. But thank you for buying each of us our first car, your car, surrendering your keys on each child's 16th birthday, and even retiring to the back seat when needed, all without complaint. In the Army, I remember telling you I joined the Army, how it hurt that we didn't talk about it beforehand. So I'm sorry for springing that decision on you, not letting you work through the choices with me. Thank you for your never-ending support. You left something behind. We were taking pictures at Greensburg Academy, and I introduced myself to Linda Puckett. And she, like many other people that I mentioned your name to, affectionately grabbed my arm and began telling me how fantastic you were and everything you had done for her. And the mention of your name in our town is synonymous with kindness, selflessness, and generosity, demonstrating to me that everything you've done wasn't only focused on your family and yourself, but other people and anyone that you came in contact with. I'm sorry for all the times I complained you weren't where I thought you should be when I wanted you there. And thank you for leaving such an impressive history of goodness in our hometown for me to hear from each and every person. Now, I told Dale it was the day you talked about, I forgot, I would have listened to text you. The day you were talking about screening people and protecting people, and I was thinking of my mom. So I told him I wanted to share this for a couple of reasons, because we wanted to celebrate Mother's Day, and I like to brag about my mom just like moms like to brag about their kids. Am I going long enough to get you out of the sermon? I have the best mom ever, but I challenge you to prove me wrong. Take some time today, if not any other day, and remember stories of your own. Write them down or don't write them down. Of course, I had a really good time writing down my little mini novel. Maybe it's your mom, your grandmother, adopted mother, foster mother, maybe just a crazy aunt that always took care of you just like your mom. And when you're done, tell that person. And if for one reason or another you can't tell that person, tell your children or your grandchildren so that they know how great they were. And if you can't find anybody else, then call me and I'll listen to your stories because you had to listen to mine.
Thanks, Bradley. I told you it was going to be good, and I don't think you were disappointed. Bradley has a way of saying thank you that all of us can relate to. How grateful we are for those acts of kindness on our behalf from so many other people. Mona, could you